Do you ever feel like you're a frog being boiled in water? Well, if you're from California, maybe not, because California has been changing and changing and changing over the years to where it is now a foreign country. You're no longer in America. I want you guys to come back to America in North Idaho. Yes, America still exists in some places like North Idaho. I'm Bryan Ingham with Ingham Realty, and this is my channel, Enjoy Living in North Idaho, where I talk about eating, sleeping, drinking, buying real estate, everything North Idaho. And let's look at the differences of the foreign country of California and the free state of North Idaho. Let's jump right into it, shall we? First, I'm going to talk about how California is increasingly becoming more of a socialist state and even a communist state, whereas in North Idaho, we are free, a free state. It's socialist because they keep adding more and more taxes, and they have more than double the taxes of Idaho. Idaho actually gave a big refund on property taxes because they had too much money. You think that would ever happen in commie California? I call it communist for several reasons, but I'll give you just one quick example. Hopefully you guys haven't forgotten about the COVID response in 2020. How they forced people to wear masks even though they knew they weren't effective. They forced vaccinations on people, especially in many government jobs, and people ended up having to lose their jobs over that. All the lockdowns where you couldn't even go to the beach or they would arrest you. They closed businesses for an indefinite period of time to where many of the businesses went out of business and ruined people's livelihood. They closed churches, which is very unconstitutional. But of course, nothing like this is ever going to happen again, right? California is going to get better and better, right? And of course, the people high up in power, the dictators, they didn't follow these rules and regulations that they imposed on the lowly people. They were having their restaurants open, eating, dining without masks, doing all the things opposite of what they told you to do. Another reason to move back to America in Idaho, opposed to the foreign country of California, is you don't need a translator. People actually speak English and our signs are in English. Now, don't get me wrong, America is founded on bringing people from every tribe, tongue, and nation. But the thing is, for hundreds of years, people would assimilate into this country and they would learn the language, learn the culture. But in California, they don't require that. And so they just cave in to all the people coming in, legal or illegal. And you don't have to learn the language, so they put the language up on signs, different languages, and it just creates chaos and separation of people, which is what they want, so they can divide and conquer you in California. Idaho is rich with natural resources, but so is California. The problem is they mismanage those resources. For example, they regulate your power and your water. You get brownouts, blackouts all the time. And then in the summertime, you can't even water your lawn and it has to die and you have to do something else with your landscaping because they control the water because they mismanage it. California has a ton of regulations on businesses. That is why major businesses are fleeing California every day. Whereas in Idaho, we are very business friendly and have a lot less regulations. And also, like I have an LLC for my company and a corporation. And when I want to renew that every year, guess how much it costs me here in Idaho? Zero, nothing, zilch. Where at California, when I lived there, man, fee after fee after fee every year. And it just makes your business not profitable. Another reason to move back to America is the perversion. The morality in California has really tanked, where Idaho is a very moral people. In California, you have the trans movement out of control. You have men going into girls' bathrooms. You have men playing girls' sports, injuring young girls, and it's terrible. Idaho doesn't allow that kind of stuff here. California can be very isolating, even though there's crowds of people all around you. It can be very lonely, and there's lots of single people there. And then if you're not lonely, maybe you're part of a gang. Where in Idaho, we have families and communities is what we're made up of, not lots of lonely people and gangs destroying our communities. In California, you have state worship. In Idaho, you have God worship. They worship the state because they think the state will take care of them. That is their God, their source of provision, where we all know that God is the ultimate provider. We do not want to be dependent on a government. We want to be self-sufficient. With so many laws in California, you'd think all the criminals would be in jail. But no, they let them all go free. And then nice people just trying to run their business, those are the ones that they will arrest and fine and all that. Where here in Idaho, we actually lock up our criminals. In California, you get a lot of hateful looks from people when you go out. But up here in Idaho, you get a lot of friendly waves. Because of all the regulations, costs on everything in California are just going through the roof. Where here in Idaho, so many things cost less. Basic things like DMV fees, insurance, housing. A lot of things are just a lot less money and more affordable here. In Idaho, we believe in self-protection. As per the Constitution and the Second Amendment, we have the right to bear arms to protect ourselves, not only from criminals, but from the government itself. Whereas in California, you have the scariest words ever spoken. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. In Idaho, we can have things like assault rifles, high-capacity magazines. We can carry guns wherever we want. You don't need a concealed weapons permit. But in California, they've banned several of these things, and they're banning more and more where you can even carry a gun. And so most places, you're just unarmed and harmless and totally dependent on the government. And eventually, they probably will take those guns from you. Sadly, I have a lot more to say on the differences of California and Idaho, and I'm even going to highlight 5 new laws in California that's just going to make you want to run for the hills. But if you guys are thinking about moving to North Idaho, moving back to America, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to answer any questions that you have. I've been helping people buy and sell real estate for over 20 years now, escaping from many of the communist states, and I would just love to be your guide. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is America's motto. But in California, increasingly, it's becoming death, slavery, and misery. Another issue in California is that they enable people to be homeless and to stay homeless. Where in Idaho, we don't have homeless people. Why? Because if anyone is down on their luck, we help them. We don't enable them. In California, the government continues to invade your privacy. Where in Idaho, we are left to ourselves. We value our privacy and we get to keep it. In the big cities in California, they are dirty, trashy, full of graffiti. Where up here in Idaho, we have clean, beautiful cities. If you guys aren't packing yet, this might put you over the top. Laws. California has 395,000 laws and regulations, the most out of any state, where Idaho is actually the least at only 38,000. It's actually less than 10% of California's laws. Pretty amazing. And every year there are hundreds of new laws in California. and I'm going to highlight just 5 of them from this last year. One law is free health care for illegal immigrants, which will end up costing the state billions of dollars. They continue to create laws that makes it harder for cops to do their jobs so they can actually deter crime. Another new law affects the workplace to where if one of your employees fails a drug test, you can't fire them, you can't do anything about it. You have to have druggies working for you, which are going to just destroy businesses. They continue to take parents' rights away to where the government can just come in and take your children, and they don't even have to show that you were abusive, neglectful, or any kind of threat, and they can just take your children anytime they want. And if you want to be a foster parent to help these children, you have to support the mutilation of children, or else they won't allow you to be a foster parent. And lastly, of course, more gun laws. They just put a huge excise tax on guns and ammunition, and more regulations on concealed carry, which all these things are very unconstitutional. As depressing as all that was, on the bright side, you can still move back to America by moving to North Idaho. You can escape California while you can. They haven't put up any borders yet to keep you in there. So come back to the land of the free and the home of the brave, the way America used to be. If you guys like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. That way you'll be notified of all my videos that come out. I'm doing new videos every week showcasing the whole area of North Idaho so you can make an informed decision when you move here. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.